Most of your struggles come from you not doing your best. How is saying I'm an all or nothing person doing your best? How is saying I'm going to start over Monday doing your best? How is saying fuck it and continuing to make bad decisions doing your best? How is saying, no, if I can't do the whole thing, I don't want to do it at all? How is that doing your best? It's not. You have to understand, if you are struggling and you're not getting that great of results, if we had to audit where your best is at, you're probably not doing it. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Dieting from the Inside Out. If you're new here, welcome to the show. My name is Jared Hamilton, and I'm super excited that you're here, so thank you so much for joining us once again. Now, you are getting a solo episode today. I got a lot of good feedback from the last solo episode I did, and some interview schedules got moved around a little bit, so I want to keep the flow of shows coming to you, so you're getting a solo episode today. Now, today, I want to get into a concept of what I'm calling weight loss truths that most people are not ready to face. Ironically, I did a smaller post about this, like this past week, on Instagram and TikTok, and man, it struck a chord with a lot of people. And I think it's a really good point to talk about this, because usually when I make a post and it upsets a lot of people, followers leave, people get nasty in the comment sections. Number one, it shows that there is an area we need to improve on, right? Like, because it's one of those things, like the truth hurts in most cases, but it's like I said, these are weight loss truths most people are not ready to face. So that's what we're going to get into today. But the thing I love about the podcast is I can actually get in here and explain things and really get more context and elaborate and show you guys more of what I mean. So this way, the people who are going to take this info and run with it can actually run with it and not just get triggered on Instagram and go through an adult hissy fit and be like a plane and announce their departure. I've never understood that. If you're going to unfollow somebody, just unfollow them. Don't like, well, I just want to let you know that I'm going to unfollow you. It's like, bro, this isn't an airport. You don't have to announce when you leave. It's okay. So that's what we're going to get into today. But before we do, huge thank you to the sponsors of the show. Sponsor number one, Flex Pro Meals. I actually just had one of their meals right before we recorded, because I have been going strong ever since the day started with meetings and things like that back to back. So this is the exact reason I love Flex Pro so much, is because it keeps me in line with my goals. The food is great, so I love it. And it's just so fucking convenient. So huge thank you to them. If that's something that would help you a lot, having some foods that are in line for your goals, that taste amazing, that are according to your numbers and fit really well, definitely go check out Flex Pro. I'll leave their link in the comments, or just go to flexpromeals.com. But I like to save people money. So if you use my code Hamilton Trained, it'll save you about 20% at checkout, which is legit as fuck, because now we're talking about this being cheaper than a drive-through. So definitely check that out. Sponsor number two, I'm wearing one of their shirts again, his First Form. Now, you guys know I say this every time. I am not the supplement beat off. I'm not ever going to sit here and say supplements are the end all be all. But the beautiful thing about First Form is they will tell you the same thing. I had First Form just come into my group and do a training here recently. And that was one of the first things out of their mouth. It's like, yo, if you guys are getting everything you need from food, you're good. Supplements are for when you can't get everything you need from food. That's why it's called a supplement. This is why you'll see companies say like, oh, their shake is the best meal of the day. It's like, no, they're lying to you. So you have to understand that supplements can't have their time in their place. They can definitely help fill in gaps. Most people have gaps that need filled unless you're hitting your protein perfectly every day, unless you're getting, 5 to 6 servings of fruits and vegetables a day, unless you're making sure to get all of your vitamins in every day, unless you're eating enough fish to get some omegas. Probably, chances are you're probably not doing that. So I want to make sure that your money is going to a place that's giving you quality and you're not just wasting it, which is why I partner with First Form. So definitely go check out their link below. If you use my link below, it does support me, and I appreciate that. And I know you'll get taken care of there. So definitely check that out. Now, let's get into some of these weight loss truths. We're going to treat this a little kind of rapid fiery. I just don't even have notes. I just got my phone and I'm going to go through all of these. And let me just set a precedence with this. Like, the hook of this was the title is Weight Loss Truths That Most People Don't Want to Face. Here's the reality. Why don't people want to face most of these? And out the gate, the biggest reason why most people don't want to face a harsh truth is because ignorance is bliss. If you don't have to face it, you're not held responsible. But here's the real truth. I want to help you. I want you to achieve your goals this year more than, I would almost say more than you want you to achieve your goals. But the problem is, unless you face all of these, you're not going to make it. At the end of the day, like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that just like, oh, eat in your calorie deficit, strength training, eat protein. Like, yeah, that's important, but that's not what this list is about. Because what I'm going to get into with this list, nothing else matters if you don't have it in check. It's like the foundation of a house. It doesn't matter what kind of windows you have. It doesn't matter what kind of doors you have, the paint on the walls. If you don't have a foundation, the house is going to crumble on itself. So that's what we're going to get into. But like I said, a good amount of these seemed to really upset some people. And either it was because they're taking it out of context, or to be honest, because it hit too close to home and the truth hurts. And most adults are fucking children. So they threw a hissy fit. So I want to get into these and really talk about this. So right out the gate, number one, weight loss truths that most people are not ready to face. Number one, working out isn't therapy. Therapy is therapy. Here's what I mean by this. This triggers people every time I talk about it. Working out is absolutely not therapy. Working out can be therapeutic as a tool, but it's not therapy. Journaling. I talk about journaling all the time. Journaling is therapeutic, but it is not therapy. Like, think of it this way. Especially if you're sitting there triggered or upset, or you're like, no, who are you to tell me that what is therapy to me and what's not? Well, first of all, last time I checked, therapy isn't something objective where you can change the definition based on what you feel. Therapy, it's like math class is math class. Like paint on a wall is paint on a wall. Things can be therapeutic, but that does not mean they're an equal exchange for therapy. That would be an example that I like to use is, imagine I have a broken arm, but I say, no, running's my doctor. Going on a run is my doctor, but I have a broken fucking arm. It doesn't help it. It doesn't do anything for the broken arm. So let's say you have inner child issues. Let's say you have a horrible relationship with your food. Let's say you're sad, you're overwhelmed. You going to the gym, yes, it could be an outlet. Yes, it is a positive habit, but working out is not therapy itself. It can be, if used correctly, therapeutic. But most people that I know who say working out's my therapy are actually using it as a suppressive tool. Here's what I mean by that. Because this is the big thing I want you guys to really take home, especially if you're not quite bought in yet, which is okay. I'm just explaining to you and trying to help. When you say that working out is the equivalent of therapy and you're really set on that, imagine this. If you had, let's say, a best friend who has stuff going on. You have a friend or a kid with debilitating depression, an anxiety disorder. They maybe even bipolar. Let's say they have a horrible relationship with food. Let's say they have trauma as a child. Let's say they have all this shit to unpack. And would you say, hey, just go work out because it's the same thing. It's fine. Just go lift. Of course not. I'm telling you, think of it logically. If working out was the same thing as therapy, why would therapists have to go get a fucking PhD and go to school for years and years and years and all this stuff? It's because it's not therapy. Working out can be therapeutic, as in it can be great for your mental health. It can be great as an outlet. It can be great for endorphins. Those things are fine and dandy, but it's not therapy. It's therapy is therapy. You have to understand this. Because my bigger issue is the people who say working out's my therapy, and it's the equivalent of their alcohol or their overworking or their overeating or their suppressive mechanism. Because most people who say, Jared, working out's my therapy, are saying it because they go to the gym, they work out really hard, and because they're distracted. They're not thinking about, maybe how do I unpack and hold space for my inner child issues and my childhood trauma and my anxiety? They go, oh no, I'm going to go run really fucking hard so I don't have to think about my problems, so I don't have to deal with my anxiety, so I don't have to feel my depression. That's avoidance, if we're being honest. Don't get this twisted. I'm not saying that working out is bad for your mental health. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm not saying it doesn't have therapeutic benefits, but I'm saying working out is not therapy. Therapy is therapy. And you've got to be careful not to use some positive habit like going to the gym as a suppressive mechanism. And that's the thing, is not everyone does this, but a lot of people who say working out is therapy, or is my therapy, like it's objective, is not. It's therapy. It can be a therapeutic action, but it is not a replacement for therapy. Okay. That's the number one that pissed everyone off. Number two, weight loss truth that most people are not ready to face. Your metabolism isn't slow. You just eat more than what you think. Holy fuck. This one pissed off so many people. Now, here's the thing. The reason this one, most people took this out of context, because here's the thing. Your metabolism isn't slow. You just eat more than what you think. No, I'm sorry. It's the next one I got twisted, but we're going to stay on the metabolism one. Me saying your metabolism isn't slow, you just eat more than what you think. That's the case for most people. Most people who scream from the rooftops, my metabolism's slow. I have a slow metabolism. Oh, it's my age. My metabolism's broken. They haven't been consistent for more than 3 weeks and they end up overeating. So for you, before you say, oh, my metabolism's fucked. Oh, it's my age and it doesn't burn the way it used to. I'm telling you, your metabolism is more than likely fine. You just eat more than what you think. Hell, even in coaching, when we coach people, one of the first things that we do inside our dieting from the inside out stage is we fix metabolisms when they're not doing very hot, right? Because if you've been stuck to a 1,200 calorie diet for the last 5 years and you're not strength training and you're sleeping like shit, like, yeah, your metabolism is going to be a little slow. But most people, though, even we find this out in coaching, they just ate more than what they think, right? You may think you're eating 1,200 calories, but if we actually audited every calorie you ate for the past 6 months, you're eating 1,200 calories for like 2 days, and then the weekend hits or whatever the case is. So, and most of you that are watching or listening to this, because this is on YouTube now, so you should definitely go subscribe to the YouTube to watch this episode. Your metabolism isn't the problem. You are just eating more than what you think. Don't believe me? Then I want you to, like I'm talking about tediously as fuck, track every calorie you eat for the next month. Just 1 month. If you can't do that, just the next couple weeks. And you will find that you eat so much more than you think when you put pen to paper, okay? Next, number 3, weight loss truths that most people don't want to face. This is one that I was talking about, and this is one that pissed everyone off. Nothing is wrong with your hormones. You just aren't consistent for even a few weeks. Here's what I mean by that. Most people, again, took this one out of context completely. But the problem is most of you watching this, and this is a really hard fact that upsets most people because, again, ignorance is bliss. I'm telling you, most of you watching this right now, nothing's wrong with your hormones. You just have consistency issues. And I will be the first one to say, guys, I personally have hormone problems. I have my testosterone left to its own devices is about 300 and it should be closer to 1,000, right? That from my testosterone rating. So I'm talking to you from a perspective of my hormones are fucked, which is why, but here's the thing, leading up to me getting my hormones checked and me deciding to get on TRT was, number 1, I was consistent in my actions and results still weren't there. If you want all the background on this, go watch my testosterone vlog when I decided to get on TRT. Number 1. Number 2, I actually went and got my hormones tested at the doctor and multiple tests, and they were in fact low. And number 3, I started treatment and things changed. Because here's the thing, when most people who are screaming from the rooftops, "Oh, my hormones are fucked. That's why I'm not losing weight." Your hormones are fine. Because if we did the other 2 things, number 1, like I always tell people this, if you haven't been consistent for months on end, you have zero right to complain your hormones are the reason you're not losing weight. Right? Because here's the thing, inside coaching, we have so many people with hormone issues. We have, I would say half of our coaching population are, well, first of all, we coach mostly women, mostly middle-aged women. Most of our clients, I would say at least half, maybe so half-ish, either have PCOS, thyroid problems, like Hashimoto's, and like insulin resistance and those kind of things, and going through menopause, different stages of menopause. But guess what? When they're consistent and showing up and doing their part, guess what? They lose weight. Almost effortlessly, right? Even with all their hormone issues, because they're consistent. You see what I mean? So before you sitting there and scream like, "Oh, I'm not losing the weight. It's my hormones are the problem." Double check your consistency first. And then go so far to say this, if you are being consistent and your weight isn't coming off, don't just say your hormones are the problem, go get them checked. You can go check any of your stuff. You can go get your T3 checked. You can go get your testosterone checked. You can go get growth hormones checked. You can go get your all of your insulin sensitivity checked. You can go get your PCOS stuff checked out, right? All of that. But most people who are complaining and bitching that like they're the people that are sitting bitching and complaining about, "Oh, my hormones are why I'm not losing weight," aren't consistent for even a few weeks and never actually got their hormones tested. So they just sit there and sulk and blame it and then continue to be inconsistent. So I'm not saying hormone issues don't exist. I'm not saying hormone issues don't contribute to you not getting to where you want to be. I am saying, though, a very small percentage of you actually fall into that category. And most people who are saying that have not been consistent, including the weekends, for months on end. And also went and got their hormones checked. And prove me wrong. If you disagree, prove me wrong. I would handle that every day of the week. If someone came into my DM and said, "Jared, are you wrong? You're wrong. I don't agree with you." I would go, "So how many months have you been consistent, including the weekends?" And people do that. And they go, "Oh, well, none." I go, "So maybe that's the issue, not your hormones." Because we work with, like I said, plenty of people who have hormone issues, but because they're consistent, they still get results. So that was the big one that pissed everyone off. Next, weight loss truths that most people don't want to face. Next is you saying you're an all or nothing person is just validating your bad behavior. You have to understand, guys, that whenever you say that things like that, "I'm an all or nothing person," you're justifying a bad decision. Think about it. If you binge eat on a Tuesday and you go, oh, I'm an all or nothing person, I'll start over Monday. You're quite literally validating the shitty decision you're about to make that you shouldn't make. Because when you blame it on, I'm an all or nothing person, you're giving that control and you're saying, I'm not responsible for my own actions because this is the kind of person that I am. But here's the problem. I'm going to give you an analogy. What if this was any other area in your life? I bet all of you guys would have a problem is what if I asked Shelby to do something? Like, what if I said, hey, baby, will you run out to my car and grab my backpack because I'm busy? And if she didn't do it or she forgot, what if I beat my wife? And I said, well, I'm just an all or nothing person. She either does what I ask her to, or I beat her, right? I know it's an extreme example, but you guys would all have problems with that. What would happen if you said you're an all or nothing person and you cracked your phone screen? Most of you watching this have done that. You've had your phone screen, your phone, you dropped it, you cracked the screen, and you still use your phone. I don't know a single person who cracks their screen and goes, you know what, I'm an all or nothing person, and they bash their phone with a hammer till it doesn't turn on. Right? We have the old analogy where if you walked out to your car and one of the tires was flat, you would not say, I'm an all or nothing person, then slash the other 3 tires. But imagine if you did do all that stuff. Imagine if your wife didn't bring you or your husband didn't bring you something, so you abused them and you're like an all or nothing person, your phone screen, the tires, the whole 9 yards. Imagine that. Does that make any sense whatsoever? Would you go with that philosophy and that mentality into the rest of your life? Of course not. I made a post a few months ago. I said, if you took the mentalities and the attitudes that you have in weight loss to the rest of your normal life, you wouldn't last 24 hours. So you have to realize though, whenever you do whip out the all or nothing card, it's because you're validating your bad behavior. That's just simply put what it is. So stop doing that. You're not an all or nothing person. You just pretend like it when it's something that you struggle with. Okay. That's just the harsh reality of it. And I promise, I mean all this, guys. I know it may sound kind of rough, but like the whole point of this post is these are blunt truths. These are weight loss truths that most people aren't ready to face. And I say this all because I love you and I want to help you. Okay. Next. You always saying you're going to start over Monday is lazy. Very much along the same lines of all or nothing. I'm just going to start over Monday, you're being lazy. You are one moment, one decision, one bite, one workout, one decision away from being back on track. It could be a Thursday afternoon and you overeat at Mexican with your friends. You can still go get your workout in that day. You can still not binge the rest of the day. You can still not wait to start over. You can still get your water in. You can still get your journaling in. It's the same thing. We got to start treating this weight loss game just like we do for every other area in your life. I know you go back, most of you guys that work a normal like 9 to 5, you go back to work on Monday, but that's about it. You don't not take care of your kids over the weekend. You don't not brush your teeth over the weekend. You don't not pay your bills over the weekend. You don't, like most of you guys, a lot of you guys still will work on the weekends, right? You still feed your dog on the weekends. So stop treating your weight loss like it's your job and where you're just like, oh, I'm taking the weekend off, going to start over Monday. Because the problem is most of you are so restricted during the week, which is its own problem, that when the weekend does hit and you're like, I'm going to start over Monday, you have a free for all. And that's not okay either. Next, you're spending way too much time fighting for your limitations. This one's big. There's an old quote that I like, and it goes like this. It says, if you fight for your limitations, you can have them. Because here's the truth. It's not your fault about the limitations that you have. I have some friends and some like close people to me that have some really big limitations, like big ones. And they don't fight for them though. Like we all have stuff going on. We all have things in our life, our childhood, our physical stuff, our emotional stuff, our mental stuff that happened to us. We could blame these limitations. But the problem is when you fight for those, you can just have them then. You're literally fighting for a limitation. When you're like, you don't understand, Jared, my mom said, da-da-da-da-da. You don't understand, I grew up, da-da-da-da-da. You don't understand, my thyroid doesn't work. You don't understand my whatever. The problem is when you fight for your limitations, you're quite literally trying to take steps to not get to where you want to be and to validate them. Just because something's not your fault doesn't mean it's not your responsibility. Right? Case in point, whenever we bought this house, the house that we live in, we bought like 6 or 7 months ago. And when we bought it is the first week we moved in, water leak in the bathroom. It's not my fault that the house has the bathroom, the upstairs bathroom as well, like to make it even worse, had a water leak in it. It's not my fault. I didn't know it was like that. The building inspector didn't even notice it. And it wasn't until our first week living here that the bathroom upstairs in our bedroom, it had a water leak. It's not my fault, but guess whose house it is? It's mine, which means it's my responsibility to get it fixed. But imagine if I just said, nope, it's their fault. I'm just going to, and just left it. Imagine if I validated all the reasons why I shouldn't have to fuck with that. It's not my fault. I didn't do it. I can't believe it's like this. And it's like, that's just that much more time, energy, bandwidth, and resources of me not getting it fixed. I go, this sucks. Okay, I'm going to fix it. And I fixed it. But a lot of you guys are sitting there that you're just spending so much time and bandwidth fighting for why you shouldn't make it, why you should be gaining the weight back, why you're going to fail, why this isn't going to work this time. But the problem is that's so much bandwidth. Imagine if you put that bandwidth that you think about your limitations and like, well, I'm probably not going to make it because of this. I wasn't gifted here. I struggle with this, whatever it is. Imagine if you put that energy and bandwidth into just action moving forward. It changes everything. Okay. Next, coming down the home stretch. I'm trying not to make this too long. Again, we're talking about weight loss truths. This is like part 3, if you will, on the post. Weight loss truths that most people don't want to face. The next is you're looking for reasons to fail and struggle, and that's why you're finding them. You guys have to understand that we always get what we look for. If you find that you're struggling and failing left and right, you're probably unconsciously looking for reasons to fail. You have this thing, I won't get into all of it here. I have a whole YouTube video on your reticular activating system and fat loss. It's this thing in your brain, but you have organs in your brain that are chemically designed to show you what you look for and what's important to you, which means when you're going on this journey, and if you're like looking for reasons to fail and to not make it or reasons to struggle, your brain will quite literally hide from you all the reasons that are going to make things easier and better for you and only give you data and validate why you're going to struggle and fail. It's crazy. It's why, like, for example, if you have, let's say, I don't know, a white car, you see white cars everywhere. But then if you sell the white car and buy a blue van, all of a sudden you see blue vans everywhere and you don't see white cars anymore. We all have gone through that. It's not because that there are more or less white cars and blue vans on the road. It's because our awareness changed and we unconsciously filter things differently. It's called your reticular activating system. I have a YouTube video on it about your RAS and weight loss. It'll change your life. But it's things like that. If you are unconsciously or consciously for that matter, trying to like always saying, well, I should have lost more weight. This is taking forever. It's not good enough. So-and-so is making more progress than me. This sucks. I'm never motivated. Well, that's what you're telling your RAS to look for. So it's going to hide wins. It's going to hide opportunity. It's going to hide resources. It's only going to validate and show you more of a reason to continue to fail. So if you feel like life is out to get you, if you feel like you never can make it happen, if you feel like that you're always struggling and always failing, it's probably because on some level you are looking for it. And we always get what we look for. Everything, so many areas prove this. If you're a religious person, the Bible straight up says, seek and you shall find, right? Knock and the door will be open. If you're a spiritual person that gets into like law of attraction and things like that, it's quite literally what you think about comes about, right? If you are a science, physiological psychology person, look up your reticular activating system, the thing I just explained. On all levels, we get what we look for. So if what you're getting is not so great, it's probably because on some level you're looking for it or it's one of your dominant thoughts. Okay. Next, this is ones a lot of people don't like. Weight loss truths most people don't want to face. You aren't doing your best. I'm not saying you have to completely max out every day in an unsustainable way, but you have to understand most of your struggles come from you not doing your best. Like, what do we tell kids? Just do your best, buddy. Hey, I know you're scared about the test. Just do your best. Most of you are not doing your best. If you're struggling, how is saying I'm an all or nothing person doing your best? So like we talked about, saying you're an all or nothing person is just validating bad behavior. It's not doing your best. How is saying I'm going to start over Monday doing your best? How is saying fuck it and continuing to make bad decisions doing your best? How is not being able to, let's say you can't go do a full workout, but you can still go walk around the block to get your habits in and to get your mental momentum? How is saying, no, if I can't do the whole thing, I don't want to do it at all? How is that doing your best? It's not. So you have to understand, if you are struggling and you're not getting that great of results, if we had to audit where your best is at, you're probably not doing it. Okay. Next, is this the last one? No, we're coming down the home stretch. If you know what to do, but don't do it, you either don't actually know or don't actually care. Let me say that again. If you know what to do but don't do it, you either don't truly know or you just don't care. You guys have to understand, a lot of times when I see this happen, it's like someone may say, oh, I know I should be eating better. I just don't. I don't know what my problem is. Well, because it goes back to the old saying of if we knew better, we would do better. So then my thing is, do you actually not know what to do? But most people, it's that they don't care or their current reality doesn't hurt bad enough. If you think about things like brushing your teeth, going to work and paying your bills, you know you should do them and you do it anyway. You're not motivated. You don't want to go to work. You don't want to pay your bills. You don't love brushing your teeth. So why do you do it anyway? It's because the negative outcome hurts worse. Getting evicted from your home, losing your car, not getting your bills paid, getting your utilities shut off hurts a lot worse than going to work. That's why you do it. Getting cavities, having bad breath and yellow teeth hurts a lot worse than the 2 minutes AM, 2 minutes PM brushing your teeth. You see what I mean? So if you sit there and say, Jared, I know what to do, I just don't do it. Either your current reality, it doesn't hurt bad enough, or the perceived hurt of what's the struggle you're going to stay in or what's going to happen or the bad things isn't heightened enough or you're not aware of it, right? It's one of my favorite things to do when I do coaching calls with people or I'm teaching on like a webinar or whatever along this subject. I want to know what's it going to cost you if you never move forward. And that's when people get emotional, right? Someone will say, Jared, I know what to do. I just don't do it. And I'll go, okay, so what happens if you don't do it? Not now. What happens in 10 years? They're like, oh shit, I won't be alive. Okay. Oh, wow. Do you want grandbabies? Well, yeah. Well, you won't see them though. Oh, that's a good point. Okay. How's your romantic life? Oh, it's terrible because I hate the way I look and feel and I'm not confident. Okay. What if you don't have sex with your husband for the next decade because you don't feel good? Oh, your marriage won't work out. Got it. And we start stacking this list because it's one of those things that in most cases, if you know what to do, but don't do it, you either don't know or you don't care enough, or you aren't aware of the negative side effects that are going to happen at scale. But like, if you think about like a kid, if they know they should clean their room, they just don't clean it. It's because they don't care. They know they're supposed to, they just don't give a shit. Right? You see what I'm saying? So this is why if you are in the shoes of, I know what to do, it's just not happening. I don't know what's wrong with me. Well, which one is it? Is it, do you not know or do you not care? Because again, if the stakes were higher, you would change it more than likely. It's why people will have like a heart attack and then they go from not being consistent, being really overweight. They have a heart attack and don't die. Then they're like, shit, that was scary. Then they get their life together, right? It's because they hit their rock bottom, and rock bottom is just a really painful place. So if you know what to do, but just don't do it, you either don't know or don't care. Okay. Final part, weight loss truths that most people don't want to face. This is the part 4. You have so much more control than you realize. You're just choosing not to utilize it. You have to understand this, guys. Most people look at their control in the wrong places. Because I may say that and you may be sitting there going, well, there's no, I don't hardly have control over anything. Most of the time you're thinking of outcomes, because there are so many things you don't have control of, like outcome based. You don't have control how much weight you lose, where it comes off of, how fast, how slow. You can't control half the shit going on in your day, all that kind of stuff. But but the couple things you can control change everything. You can control your actions and you can control your attitude. You can control what you think about. Well, if I control my thoughts, if I control my attitude around what I think, and then I control my actions, you're telling me I'm not going to have an amazing life? You're going to tell me that doesn't bulletproof me? This is why I'm saying you have so much more in your control than you realize. You're just choosing not to utilize it. You guys, you have to understand, I don't know if you've seen this video or this picture or not. There's a trendy picture online. If you Google, hang on, let me do it while I'm here on the show. Let me just do it real quick. Just for those that are watching this, for those that are watching, I want you guys to be able to look this up real quick to see what I'm talking about. So if you were to go Google donkey tied to horse, or I'm sorry, not horse, donkey tied to chair. Let me look it up real quick. Make sure it's right here. Yeah. So if you go Google the phrase donkey tied to chair, and right now at the time of filming this, it's the very first video the very first picture that pops up on YouTube, or not YouTube. Wow, I can't talk, on Google. And you see this donkey or a horse tied to one of those like really cheap, shitty dollar store lawn chairs. Right? It's like one of those that like you could sit and break it. Like it weighs like 2 pounds. You got this powerful ass donkey, or actually in this picture, it's a horse, and it's tied to this chair, but it's stuck because it doesn't realize how powerful it is. the horse or donkey in this case, it does not realize how powerful it is. And so it's stuck. But you looking at this, you go like, why doesn't this thing move? It's because its belief systems are broken. It thinks it's stuck. And it thinks that it's not powerful enough. That's how most of you are right now. Most of you going through this and struggling think that you aren't powerful. You think that you don't have all these things in your control. You think that all of life is out to get you, or you think that the things that you're not in control of your reality. But the problem is you are. It's just like that horse, but you're held captive by the belief around the chair. So in this, you have so much more in control, you are in so much more control than you think. You're just choosing not to realize it. Just like this horse is the horse is conditioned, but it's the same thing with the horse. It just doesn't realize it. But, it's just not utilizing it. Sorry guys, I don't know why I can't talk on this second half of this episode. So I'm hoping this makes sense. You have so much in your control, your actions, your habits, your thoughts and your attitude, and that controls all outcomes. We just have to change what we focus on and choose to utilize it. It's a big difference. Okay. Last one. This is a big one. And this is the final weight loss truth that most people aren't ready to face. If you've been dieting for years, you are most likely taking your struggles to your grave unless you work with a really good coach. Here's the thing. I'm not saying you have to work with me or my team. I'm not saying you've got to do anything on that capacity, but I'm saying for the vast majority of you watching this, that if you've been struggling for years and decades, statistically speaking, you are more likely, psychologically speaking, and physiologically speaking, you are more inclined to take your struggles to your grave unless you work with someone who can guide you to where you want to be. It's just the blatant fact. Here's why. If you've been struggling for decades, years and years, or even decades with this yo-yoing, from a physiological side of things, every time you gain, lose, you're doing two things. You are, number one, damaging your metabolism. It's not good for your metabolic health. It's not good for your muscle tissue or anything like that. Then you're also building habitual negative momentum to sabotage, because you're teaching your nervous system, as soon as I lose weight, something's going to happen. I'm going to gain it all back. As soon as I lose weight, something's going to happen. I'm going to gain it all back. So every time that you stay in this like bouncing trendy diet yo-yo bullshit, the longer that you try to I'm going to just try it on my own one more time, and then you fail and struggle and feel defeated, the more likely you are going to continue to take your struggles to your grave. And again, this is not a fear tactic. I'm not trying to make it sound like a bigger deal than what it is, but I'm being totally honest with you. And this is a fact most people don't want to realize, is that if you have been struggling for this long and it hasn't been happening for you, and you are just like a walking struggle bus, and it has been years or even decades that this has not worked, you will more than likely take your struggles to your grave with you unless you work with someone who can get you to the other side. Because for most people, it takes a coach. It takes a third party, not just like an accountability partner. Because here's the truth. You don't need just accountability. You need someone who has built a plan for you that's going to undo the shithole that you dug yourself into. That's the whole point of coaching. It's why I coach. It's why I built a coaching company, is because I love coaching. Coaching is quite literally the ultimate life hack to change your life in the fastest and most sustainable way possible. It's why in my personal life, I've invested around $100,000 over the last 5 or 10 years into coaching myself, because it's changed my life. And it's why I love watching this with clients, is because we'll take someone, like we just did an episode with a client named Beth. It was it was Coach Grant's client. She struggled for the past 20 years with binge eating and yo-yo dieting. And in 6 months, she's completely good and graduated and doesn't need help ever again. Right? That wouldn't have happened on her own. You should go back and listen to that episode and hear her story. So it's the final truth with all of this. And this is where it comes down to you. If you're okay taking your struggles to your grave, by all means, go do what you want to do. If you want to risk it, by all means, you do what you want to do. That's why I invest in coaching, because I don't want to take my struggles to my grave. So again, this is not a hard pitch to push you to coaching. Of course, if you want to have that conversation, there will absolutely be a link in the description to where you can schedule a call to apply for coaching, and then we'll see if it's a good fit and then talk about potential options if you want. But whether it's with me, my staff, or any capacity, you more than likely need a level of coaching to get where you want to be. Just what psychology teaches us, because the mind and nervous system crave what's most familiar. And for most of you, struggle and yo-yoing is your familiar, so you unconsciously drift there. So that's how to change your life, is you work with someone who can get you on the other side and teach you and give you the skill sets to get there. That's why, again, coaching is the best, most ethical, the most sustainable life hack there is for anything you want to do. So, and that is it. That is it for today's episode. That is all of the weight loss truths that most people don't want to face. We're coming in about 35 minutes. So not bad, not bad. Not quite like a normal hour-long episode. I tried to keep it around a half hour. Now, if this was helpful, do me a couple favors. Number one, be sure and subscribe wherever you're listening to the show at. iTunes, Spotify, wherever, it doesn't matter. Be sure and subscribe to the podcast. It helps us a lot. If you can leave me a review, it would mean a ton to me, for real. Also, my one ask is that you share this, because the thing is, we need to get this podcast to more ears. And one of the best ways it's proven to do that is just share this. It's my one ask, is if you get value out of this show, please just share it with someone, whether you send it to a friend or whether you post a screenshot on your Instagram story, whatever it is. I'm just asking you if you would please share the show. It would mean the world to me, especially if you're getting value out of this. That's my one ask in return. But otherwise, depending on where you're at, I have a lot of resources in the description. If you aren't following me on my other socials, definitely follow me down there, because if you like this kind of content on your news feeds, definitely do that. If you don't have a home base to go to, if you don't have a place where you can go to that to get help, to get training, to be around a bunch of like-minded people, I have an amazing Facebook community called Fat Loss Simplified. You can add yourself. I'll make sure you get accepted. And we do a lot of really cool trainings and things like that in there with some of my best resources. Be sure and subscribe to the YouTube account, the YouTube channel, where we have all of these interviews and podcast episodes uploaded there. And it's great. I also keep forgetting to tell you guys, we have the full-blown podcast website, out right now. Go to dietingfromtheinsideout.com. And we have basically all the things the podcast touches is right there in one spot, where, sorry, I keep burping. From the meal I just had before I filmed. We have everything right there, from every episode, all the interviews, the YouTube, the show notes now. So this way, if you would rather read your podcasts in like a blog fashion instead of like watching or listening to a whole episode, we have all of that transcribed there. All the resources and links that I talk about in the show are going to be right there. So it's just a great spot to go to as a little hub. That way, everything's in one spot for you. It's dietingfromtheinsideout.com. And then finally, if you are tired of doing this on your own and you want help, you can apply for coaching at the link below. And because you're a podcast listener, I have a whole bunch of free stuff for you if you apply and get accepted, and then we'll go from there. Otherwise, guys, I really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. I will talk to you next time.